Hi guys, it's me, Charlie, VE7CQE, along with Sterling the Wonder Dog. And this episode of Ham Talk, we're going to have a little chat about coaxial cable and some of the myths that have been up in regards to it. And, well, you know, I've heard people say, you know, coaxial cable should be cut at resonant lengths of a wavelength. And that if your antenna's not matching right, trim your coaxial cable back, or it's not long enough. Both wives' tales. Old wives' tales, complete and utter crap. Horse hockey, metal muffins, whatever you want to call it. Either way, it is pure bull. Plain and simply put, coaxial cable is always one-to-one match. That's just the way it is. If your SWR is affected by trimming your coaxial cable or lengthening your coaxial cable, it's not the cable that's the problem. You have a major problem with the antenna. That's the simple truth of it. Shouldn't matter how long your cable is. Ideally, you want your coaxial cable run to be as short as possible between the transmitter and the antenna, or amplifier and antenna if you happen to have one. I don't. I like the challenge of you going barefoot at 100 watts and seeing how far I can get. And when I start pounding on top of people that actually have amps, I know I did my job right. Now, if you have a problem and you start trimming coaxial cable and you notice it's changing your SWR, you have an issue with the antenna. The antenna's not tuned properly, or it's not matching up properly. Something is not right at that end. That's when you need to get an antenna analyzer. And let's see, where'd they put that? Oh yeah, here it is. Amazing thing. People go, well, antenna analyzers are really expensive. Not really. This little beauty right here, hello, is under $100 on Amazon. It is, excuse me, the M300 HF antenna analyzer. It does everything I need it to do. It's cheap, and inside you can even throw a battery in it, some batteries in it, and it does the job. Just remember that your antenna is the most important part of your amateur radio setup. You can have the nicest, most beautiful, expensive rig in the world. If you've got a crap antenna, you're not getting anywhere. I don't care what kind of radio you've got. If it transmits with a decent amount of power, or and a good, crisp, clean transmission, then if you've got a good antenna, you're going to be heard. You can have the cheapest radio there is, as long as it's transmitting cleanly and doing its job properly. If you've got a kick-ass antenna system, you're going to be heard. You're going to be heard well, and you're going to be heard loud and far. If you've got a crap antenna, doesn't matter how good your radio is, you're not going to be heard. It's that simple. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that the radio is the most important part of the ham shack. It's not. The most important part of the ham shack is either hung up in a tree at the top, or at the top of a tower, or hanging between two tree limbs. That's the antenna. And it doesn't have to be expensive. The antennas I have, like this whole show and Ham Talk, is all about getting you Cadillac performance on a shoestring budget. This whole series of videos and my show is designed, and its sole purpose is to give people on fixed incomes like myself, or low-income people, an opening and the ability to have a really good amateur radio station on what limited budget they have, to give them the best performance that they can possibly get with the least amount of money output as is necessary. And it's always a compromise. Always a compromise. But I tell you this, I promise you this much: I will not, never will, never have, give a loyalty to any one particular brand over another, or any one particular manufacturer over another. Not the way I work. I compare, and I give you what I think is the best value for the price point that I can possibly give you. The antenna I use right now costs all of $3.85. If you go on my QRZ page, VE7CQE, you'll see it. It's just some wire. It's 14 gauge copper wire, an inverted V WARC antenna, which is 3 elements on either side coming in on an inverted V, and the elements are different bands, all fed by a common feed point, and an 80 meter coming off 90 degrees perpendicular to the horizontal of the other antenna. And I've made contacts all over the world with that thing. So it's trimmed right, it's tuned right, it does everything it needs to do, and it's a $3 antenna. So remember this, we're talking coaxial cable. You want to get a good one, you want one that's got really good shielding. Don't go with the cheap stuff, please. This is not where you want to splurge, or this is not where you want to get that. This is not where you want to save money. This is where you want to put the money into the quality. The transmission line, the coaxial cable between your transmitter and your antenna, is really important that you actually get the best that you possibly can. You want the best shielding you possibly can, because RF, I don't care what antenna you have, you're going to have a certain degree of RF that's going to come back on the shield, or the skin of the shield of that cable. And of course, we'll get into how to get rid of that in a future episode. Easiest way, RF choke of a few coils just before the antenna. But we'll get into that in another episode. But you want to get the best coaxial you can, but remember, trimming your coaxial cable should not make a difference in your match. If it does, there's a problem with the antenna. All right? With that, I'll say 7-3. Have a great day. From me, Sterling the Wonder Dog, and Mrs. Tina, this is Charlie signing off for Ham Talk.